Common needs includes patient care standards, safety, training, community involvement, medical care initiatives. Yes, please, Scott. Thank you. I cannot underscore enough how truly blessed we are to have not only a great service provider, but simply the best of the best. This was a statewide award. So this is through all of the EMS services throughout the entire Commonwealth. So we are truly grateful for all of their tireless.
And there's over 400 ambulance authorities, so it tells you how special this award really is.
This is a very nice feather in their cap. So next up, we have a proclamation for Pride Month that I would like to read. Whereas the month of June was federally designated Pride Month to recognize and celebrate the LGBTQ plus rights movement. As the town of McCandless celebrates our LGBTQ plus family, friends, neighbors, business owners, all of whom help make our community great. As the town of McCandless, a resolution in 2018 adopted a statement of equality, diversity, and inclusivity that establishes the town of McCandless as a place of welcome, hospitality for all, regardless of country of origin, race, native language, religion, or sexual orientation, and that everyone deserves to live without fear of prejudice, discrimination, violence, and hatred based upon gender identity, gender expression, or sexual orientation. LGBTQ plus individuals in the town of McCandless deserve to know we fully support the right to live and love fully, authentically, and free of discrimination and hate. Therefore, be it proclaimed by the town of McCandless Town Council that June 2026 is hereby designated as LGBTQ Pride Month in the town of McCandless. This Pride Month, we recognize the valuable contributions of LGBTQ plus individuals across the country and reaffirm our commitment to standing in solidarity with our LGBTQ plus residents, visitors, together for a accepting and equitable community. I just want to underscore that the seven of us are all LGBTQ allies, that we have your back in McCandless, regardless of who you are. Thank you. Next up, we want to introduce our town of McCandless LGA intern, Caroline Ridge. If you'd like to come up and tell us a quick few words about yourself and what you'll be working on over the summer here with us.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Caroline Bridge. I am currently in between my first and second years of my master's program at Carnegie Mellon. I'm studying public policy management. In the summer, I'm the LGA intern with the town of McCandless. So a lot of my work is with the 175th anniversary for the town of McCandless, including some historical revitalization and preservation of some of the records that we have. I also get to explore a lot of the other departments and really just learn the inner workings of local government. And I'm very happy to be here this summer. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up, I'd like to get a resolution, and then we'll vote on it afterwards for the recognition and appreciation of McCandless Police Sergeant Christian Gutso.
You're on alone.
I just missed one. Thank you. First off, the announcement F. I want to recognize our junior council members who will be parting our ways with at least one will, since he is a graduating senior. Christian Splendino, did I pronounce that correctly? Christian Splendino and Arjun, if you guys would like to come up and we'll say a quick few words. And we have a small gift for you too.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. So I was thinking about what I would say whenever I came up here, and if you'll let me, I wanted to tell a quick story. So 2 summers ago, when I first took on a similar role at North Allegheny as the chairman of the Principals Advisory Committee, I was having a meeting with the principals, and they asked me to come with a list of common student concerns. I had no idea in the middle of the summer how I was going to get a list of common student concerns that represented a lot of students besides just my close friends. So I went through the contact list on my phone and I pulled out every single current North Allegheny student I could find. And I sent each and every one of them a text message being like, hey, I'm having this meeting with the principals. Is there anything you'd like me to speak about? Any concerns you have about school next year? I didn't think I would get anything out of it, and I went to bed with little hope. And I woke up in the middle of the night to my phone blowing up, and I sat there in the dark looking at my phone at well over 100 text messages from my peers talking about the widest range of issues you can imagine, from concerns about teachers to managing homework to bullying and discrimination. These issues, a lot of these kids I didn't know particularly well. Some of them were my friends, some of them were classmates I had known in passing and gotten their phone numbers. But what was shocking was how excited they all seemed to realize that they would have a chance to have their issues heard by the principals, by the people who could make something happen. And I wanted to tell that story tonight because I wanted to remind you all that when I came on and I took this role, I said my goal would be to get more student involvement and awareness of what's happening at McCandless. Because the problem isn't students don't care or students don't want to be involved with the issues of our local government. They do. They have those issues. They have problems, not just with their school, but with how they can get involved with their community. The problem isn't making them care. They do care. The problem is giving young people an opportunity to speak what's on their mind, to speak with their leaders, to make them feel heard in terms of what their beliefs are and what their concerns are for their everyday life. And this year, we made a lot of good progress towards that. We've made the opening moves towards getting a newsletter out to students about what's happening at McCandless. We took the opening steps to, we had our first youth town hall at the school. We got town council members to come to Nash to speak to students, and that's something that I know Arjun is going to continue doing next year. And I just want to encourage all of you to continue taking the time and the effort to continue to engage with young people, to engage with students, because the issues and the concerns are there. We just need to find a good way to reach out to them, to make them feel heard, and to kind of bring them into this great thing we have here. Because local government, in my opinion, is the most important type of local government. Because at the end of the day, it's the only lever young people can actually connect with their leaders to have a meaningful impact on their everyday lives. So I cannot express how thankful I am for all of you, for all the time and all the hard work you put in and all the cooperation you've given Arjun and I this year and kind of working towards those goals. And I'm very excited to see where this program goes next. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Small little. Wonderful having you with us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate all the help. Thank you. Next up, we want to recognize the retirement of Sergeant Christian Guzzo. Chief, I will call you forward in a second here, and I will hand this to you and hand to him after I read it. Whereas upon the occasion of the retirement of Sergeant Christian Guzzo from the town of McCandless Police Department, effective May 31st, 2026, this resolution is presented as testimony of its loyal and dedicated service to the town. And whereas Sergeant Guzzo has served the town for about 28 years, beginning on September 14th, 1998. And whereas Sergeant Guzzo has always professionally and courteously performed his duties as a patrol officer and sergeant. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices made by Sergeant Guzzo have left a lasting and positive impact on the town of McCandless and its residents. Sergeant Guzzo has consistently gone above and beyond call of duty, demonstrating exceptional leadership, courage, commitment to public safety, mentoring junior officers, and earned the trust and appreciation of fellow officers, local officials, and members of the community. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the town council of the town of McCandless that the council does hereby honor Sergeant Christian Guzzo for his years of service to the town of McCandless and for providing peace, security, and the well-being of the residents in a diligent, courteous, and professional manner. The above is hereby resolved by town council of the town of McCandless on the 8th day of June, 2026. All right.
Come back over for a photo, Chief and Nick.
Okay.
Get into a photo right there, and there you go. Perfect.
Thank you.
I just want to thank the town of McCandless and council for recognizing my 28 years here. 28 years ago, I think this month I was driving into McCandless for my interview, and it was right after a big microburst, and I was wondering if there was going to be an interview that night because it looked like a war zone. There were trees down everywhere that time, that day. But I still got I got hired here, so it's been a great run. I've enjoyed everything here with a great bunch of guys here, which made working here a lot easier. And yeah, the town's always been very supportive. And I just appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Carry that back.
Thank you. No problem, my guy.
Thank you, Sergeant. Can we get a motion to approve testimonial resolution 2026? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, we have,
Just say something.
yes, absolutely.
Wait a minute, gentlemen, I have something to say. Kristen, you exemplify the greatness of everybody in blue here in McCandless. You had a direct impact on all these gentlemen that are standing here and beyond. You gave of yourself, not just on the job, but you gave to this community. We are proud of you. You will always be a part of the family here at McCandless.
Is there any public comment on agenda items only? If you have a comment, please come forward, state your name and your address.
Ellen Wright, 9635 Old Nelson Park, 15101. I am calling, usually I'll say maybe table something, but tonight I'm asking for a strong, resounding on the strategic plan. But here are my reasons. The strategic planning violated the town code. Are to be held in town hall except for emergency meetings. That is section 115.05, letter A. Except emergency meetings are to be held in town hall. This is a special meeting that was held in a hotel. I don't recall if it was Cranberry or Wexford, but it was held in town hall. It was held in town hall.
I don't know what you're talking about.
For the strategic planning committee, was it held in town hall?
Is that the comment on agenda items? We'll just let the public.
Oh, and so my next comment would that so the council didn't want to say the address, they thought writing it down was sufficient, and they were told that they had to follow the town code. So section 1 says that all are to be held in town hall except for the emergency. Section 06 says that all town call to have minutes from the strategic planning committee. So those are two violations of the town code. Next, the strategic plan, it says that there are next steps in the implement comprehensive plan. It's just not true. There are multiple steps in the implement comprehensive plan. Thirdly, the staff first decided what the issues for town council to vote on. That's not the way it works. The citizens of town council who then direct council, direct the department heads, direct the staff. It's not the staff telling town council who then tells the citizens of McCandless. So that's all very confusing. And then the last thing was I have checked the sunshine law, but without any minutes, agenda, town hall, to take action on a strategic plan that is in violation of McCandless and of the Sunshine Act. Residents have not had an opportunity to comment on anything that's problematic. And in anticipation of Mr. Corbett telling me, I respectfully disagree this time. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Is there any other public comment on agenda items only? Hearing none, we will move on to the approval of minutes. Those meetings from the last meeting were in your packet. Are there any revisions that anyone has? Then can I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Hall, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next up is reports of the committees, reports of the Public Safety Committee, Chief's report. Chief Hall?
Good evening, council, members of the public. Probably don't need this, but I'll use it. Items of note for the month of May, as you will find in your report, in your packet, council members. I always spend a little bit on training, a little bit of time on training. In the month of May, our K-9 team attended Peebles Elementary for their field day. They were accompanied by our retired K-9, Sergeant Madden and Joy. So there was a special treat over there for the students at Peebles. Our current and retired K-9 officers. Also in the month of May, McCandless officers have completed their annual TASER recertifications. Also annually, they began their firearms qualifications. These are things that we have to do every year, recertify every year. Other training of note in the month of May, Detective Metzger completed a background investigation for police applicants, which I think is timely because we are in the midst of a hiring process as we speak. Detective Bach attended advanced crime scene investigations, which is valuable for any investigator. And Sergeant Grant attended a high impact supervision training. Also in the month of May, myself, Lieutenant Agnew and Sergeant Ewing attended a leadership training at Nemacolin Woodlands. It included debriefing of major critical incidents across the U.S. Very valuable training that we try to attend annually. Also, later in the month, myself and Lieutenant Cheberenchik attended a tabletop active shooter training at the McCandless Franklin Park EMS building. It was hosted by them. Michael Wallingham put it together. Besides us, I believe the Northern Regional Police Department, Franklin Park Borough Police Department, North Allegheny Police Department, and the FBI Pittsburgh were all in attendance for this tabletop exercise. Very valuable training. Also in the month of May, social worker Jenny Fry had 38 referrals for service, support, or additional information as needed by the residents of the town. She also held her first monthly community engagement and outreach at Northland Public Library. That's the first Tuesday of every month, I believe, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. She's slated to be there at the Northland Public Library. Also in the month of May, we participated in 2 occupant protection details. That's seat belts, if anyone's curious, and 1 pedestrian safety detail where we enforce crosswalks and such. Those are usually supported by the state of Pennsylvania. Also in May, police candidate interviews were held. We're currently in the middle of background checks for potential candidates for hire for the police department. And as you all witnessed here, Sergeant Christian Guzzo called it a career on May 31st. He was here as an officer for nearly 28 full years. And we wish him well and a well-deserved retirement. And I'll wrap up with letting you folks know that we had 27 calls relating to deer in the month of May.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir. Any questions from council?
Anyone have any?
I have a question. The new law that went into effect regarding cell phones. What are your officers looking, how are they looking to enforce that at the beginning of this period?
So it'll be interesting to see how it whenever those are written, how the local magistrates will handle them, ma'am. Honestly, I believe it'd be like any other investigation, you know, what they perceive as they maybe pass or see a driver sitting at an intersection. If they see what they believe is clearly a cell phone in hand, then I think they're going to initiate a traffic stop, probably do a little on-scene, you know, questioning of the driver. Their observations alone are probably sufficient to cite somebody. But if they're not quite sure, they may ask them at the traffic stop, this is what I believe I saw, were you in fact using your cell phone? I'll be curious to see how these play out at the magistrate level.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone have any other questions or comments for the chief? Hearing none, we'll move on to the fire marshal's report for the month of May 2026. So Wisner.
Good evening, council. So for the month of May, there were 17 fire inspections, 18 fire marshal callouts with 1 fire investigation. We had a small electrical fire in a residential property. It was ruled accidental. I taught a few fire prevention programs to approximately 85 people. The 2 big things working on, which is no shock to anybody if you guys have been listening to these reports the last few months, but still working with the volunteer fire companies on their joint bylaws draft. And I have a little typo here. So the installation of our Storz adapters on our hydrants, it shows 200, but as of the end of last week, the new update is over 380 hydrants now have Storz adapters, which is approximately 65% of our public hydrants. So they're doing very well on the installation side of things. So hopefully it won't be too long before all our hydrants have our Storz adapters. For the month of April, the fire report, there was 117 fire calls in the town with 30 responses out of town for a total of 147 calls for the month of April. That's all I have to add. If anybody has any questions, we're happy to answer.
Anyone on council have any questions or comments? Hearing none, the building permit report for the month of May 2026 that was in your packet. Does anyone have any questions or anything to add? Hearing none, we'll move on to liaison reports for the personnel board. That would be myself. We had a meeting a couple weeks ago and we certified the list. And we are in the process of hiring 2 new police officers. Are there any questions on that?
I know it's 3.
3? 2, 3?
No, we're on.
I believe we're gonna be down to this.
2?
Okay.
Okay. We look forward to getting them hired. Next up was volunteer firefighters steering committee that was Miss Clunan. I don't know if the alternate was at that, but
Oh, no,
It would be me, but no.
Okay. I'm sure if anyone has any questions, I'm sure we can send her a note and she'd be happy to let us know. Is there any public comment on public safety? Hearing none, we'll move on to reports of facilities management staff report. Public Works, Mr. Newsly is not here with us tonight, but he did have a detailed report in the packet. John, if there's anything you wanna.
The reports in the packet,
Highlight
happy
from
to
that.
answer any questions that you may have. This is Brad's last meeting. Brad has taken a position with Etna Borough as the assistant town manager there. So he will be departing us at the end of this week. We've begun the process to search for his replacement. So ad is out in the paper and all our channels, accepting applications until July 3rd.
I would like to just add that Brad did an outstanding job during his time. He faced some pretty serious challenges throughout his time here, and the last year we had a pretty massive winter storm, and I will tell you, we had all roads in tip-top shape as fast as they could possibly be. He has an excellent work ethic, and he was an absolute delight to
You know
deal
what,
with.
Mr. Chairman? Brad did such a good job of managing a very veteran group of people. And sometimes when you come into a situation like that, you have people that push and pull, as it were. These people really liked working for him. He did a great job of communicating. He will be missed here. And I wish him all the best. Because this is a great opportunity for him to go home.
It's always good to follow your heart in life, and that's what he's doing, and we're happy for him, and we wish him the best. Moving on, Environmental Advisory Committee, Mr. Hickerson.
Thank you. We reviewed over the applications for the vacant seat and we did select someone to fill the vacancy.
Awesome, we're looking forward to voting on that later. Next up was Ad Hoc Stormwater Management Committee, Mr. Babich.
Their 2025 audit was clean, very few notes from the auditor, and they've already begun working on some of those. they're getting an improved accounts payable automation software that should help streamline their processes, which is good because they have a significant amount of delinquent accounts that they are debating about how best to pursue and tackle. That's their next big step, I think.
Awesome, wonderful to hear. Is there any public comment on facilities management?
I had a question of Mr. Babish with regards to the stormwater. They have delinquent accounts with businesses?
So it ranges, they have two big chunks of several hundred each. Of the one that they are generally giving up as a loss are ones where the tenant and the owner are not current. So there's no real way to pursue those additionally, and so they're just kind of wash their hands of it as clean as possible. But there are other hundreds that are people and I think probably a smaller amount of businesses, and they are going through the channel of, okay, so they start with sending a letter. And then, and I'm not an expert in the process. But
Let me back up a little. So it's people that have stormwater retaining ponds?
no, not necessarily. Anyone who they will collect from in general. I don't think it's just for team.
Okay. Okay.
I would say check the minutes if you want.
We're talking about MTSA.
MTSA.
MTSA's sanitary, all the stormwater functions will come through the town.
Oh, I'm
So they're
sorry,
working on sanitary delinquent billings.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Apologies.
Public comment?
Ellen Wright, 9635 Old Coomer Road, Allison Park, PA 15101. I just wanted to add my voice to those thanking, and I'm not sure how do I say his last name.
Iannuzzi.
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 One more time.
Iannuzzi.
Iannuzzi. I just wanted to add my voice to complimenting him on the great work that he had done, and sorry to see that he's leaving. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Is there any other public comment on facilities management? Seeing none, we move on to reports of the services committee. Liaison reports, McCandless Township Sanitary Authority, Mr. Orwell.
MTSA, I attended a meeting Thursday this last week, and the minutes were approved from the May 7th meeting. They're not in your packet, they were emailed to you. So any questions, feel free to ask me.
Apologies. That's when I was at the previous
Oh,
one.
yeah, and I think I realized what you were trying to say now, and didn't mean to step on top.
No, you're fine.
You were talking about stormwater ponds who need maintenance.
Right.
Yes, for the stormwater committee.
Yeah, Nathan attended the MTSA meeting in my stead 2 weeks ago. And they were delighted to meet you.
Oh, good.
How is the transition going with the new executive director?
Excellent.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to hear. Next up is McCandless Franklin Park Ambulance Authority. That is myself. They are doing great. They're in great financial shape. I will underscore one more time that they received the Ambulance Service of the Year award, which is just a phenomenal accolade for them. And they also have a salute to service event this past month. I was not there, but I heard that it was a wonderful event.
I was there and Nathan was there. It's actually very moving. You had a bagpiper that came in. You had presentations from veterans. You had, the ambulance authority was there. The fire departments were there. It was really, it really hit home for a lot of people. So I hope that is going to be an annual event.
That would be wonderful. It becomes something we do on the regular. Any questions or comments on that?
Yeah, the other thing about that is they held it on a Friday of the holiday weekend and they still had over 100 people there. It was great.
That's remarkable.
Sorry.
Next up, Northland Public Library Authority, Mr. Babich.
The building and maintenance costs for this point of the year are a little bit high for them, largely due to the snowstorm that happened at the beginning. That's understandable. They're debating an increase in insurance coverage. That new building is worth a great thing, I'm sure. They've hired 4 new employees, and summer reading has begun. Tons of great programs for children and adults, so I hope our constituents take advantage.
Great to hear. Is there any public comment on the Services Committee? Ms. Callahan.
Hi, good evening, Marcia Kelly and the 10529 Abbey.
as a former member of the board for the McCandless Franklin Park Ambulance Authority, I for one am beyond delighted at their awarding of the EMS of the year. But it wouldn't have been possible without our state senators, our state representatives for securing grants for new ambulances and for medical equipment that it's a mini emergency room these days. But it also would not be possible without the financial and support and all other support we've got received from McCandless and our 4 other municipalities that we serve. It's critical. I am so thankful that we were able to secure that. And I just think that the proof is in the pudding. And so I want to, as a former board member, I want to thank you still. But it's such a great honor. So thank you.
Marcia, don't step away. I feel that I would be remiss in not recognizing your part in this as well as everybody else who has worked. Your passion for the ambulance authority just comes through every time you speak on their behalf. And I'm not surprised that you're not still feeling that passion, even though you have stepped away from official responsibilities. I don't think that you'll ever step away from supporting them and working for them and just cheering them on. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I will always be their cheerleader, but it takes a village.
Absolutely.
And that village was everyone involved. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment. There really is an incredible team effort from all of our reps, senators, all of our board members, and all of the towns that it does service. So we are incredibly fortunate for all of the wonderful work. So thank you. Next up is old business, action concerning the town of McCandless strategic plan. Is there any questions, comments from council regarding this?
Just 2 comments for a point of order. There was public notice placed in the Post Gazette run date of April 9th, announcing the time, location, and address for the meeting. It was held in a conference room with public seating available in Hampton, located at 4088 Alpha Drive, Suite 3. That was in the paper on April 9th. We also did have a presentation from our strategic planning consultant, and we had voted to hire that person in the past. So I do feel that this had been discussed in a public meeting a number of times here too in town hall.
And Mr. Schwinn, am I correct? And this may be a question for you, Mr. Corbel, that an entire board can meet if it's in a work session where no action's being taken, correct?
There was no action taken. All the action was taken, or will be taken tonight. The board discussed it at the last meeting where we had a public hearing. And as Ms. Wright knows, under the Sunshine Act, again, not admitting any issue here with what the town did, but by undertaking this activity in a public meeting, 2 consecutive public meetings, it remedies any violation of the Sunshine. Just want to make sure that's part of the record.
Thank you for the clarification.
So I ask you a question.
Mhm.
You, as our legal advisor, are telling us that we have no problem voting on this resolution tonight.
0 problem.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hearing that, can we get a motion to approve the 2026 town of McCandless strategic
So
plan?
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next up we have 2 public hearings, and I will turn this part of the meeting over to our solicitor, Mr. Corbel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. So we're going to call to order the hearing on tentatively identified ordinance 1568, which amends the town zoning map to reclassify block and lot 716-F-34, which is at 8613 Peebles Road, from the RM district, which is the moderate density neighborhood district. I always want to say residential medium, but that's not what it is. And to special district on the application of North Allegheny School District. This has been advertised and properly posted, etc. And I believe representatives for a school district are present. If you like to make a presentation, I believe you have a presentation in the, yes, there it is. If you could take the podium and make your presentation.
Good evening, I'm Craig Bishop with HRG, and my address is 220 West Kinzinger Drive, Suite 100, Cranberry Township 16066. And I'm here on behalf of North Allegheny School District. I do have Brandon, the facilities director, that is with me, along with legal counsel of the district. So thank you, Jan, for hearing us. And we're here requesting a zoning map amendment to parcel 716 F34. So as you can see on the screen there, just to give a little context of where this parcel is located. In red is the People's Elementary School. And the parcel that the district owns that they're looking to zone is the parcel there in the front, which is highlighted in blue. And it's adjacent to the existing People's Elementary School entrance. This here was just a plot plan showing that we had surveyed the property, and also just highlighting there in blue the parcel that they're requesting to be rezoned. This is just that parcel, so you can see there's an existing residential house there on it, as well as a garage. And then we've also shown on this map any of the buildings that are within 100 feet of the property to meet the ordinance requirements. Good, next, yep. So this here is just the McManus zone, and just highlighting there where within the township that the parcel is located. So it's right there, and that was in that circle. And this here is just a map there on the left showing the existing zone map with the zone special district for the People's Elementary School with the current R&M zoning that parcel. And then on the right would be if it is rezoned to SD to be consistent with the school district's other parcel, what that would look like. And we're requesting the rezoning because the district would like to consolidate this parcel with their overall track, and then this will be part of an overall land development project that we'll be submitting in the future, just to improve the safety of the entrance of the school. I think that might be it. So, I mean, I'm here I guess we're requesting your approval to rezone that parcel, and I'll be happy to answer any questions, or if you have any questions for the district.
Mr. Bishop,
let us know.
Council, any questions for the district or their representatives?
So the only thing that you guys are gonna do with that property is basically you're gonna tear down the house and the garage and make that entrance to the school safer, is right?
Correct, yes.
We dealt with that with the previous council, you remember, Nick?
Yes.
We actually had real issues with people being able to pull into the school and fly to the school safely.
Questions from council? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bishop. With that, I'll open it up to the public. Are there any public comments on this order?
Ellen Wright, 9635 Old Coomer Road, Allison Park, PA 15101. My concern is that the language of when the ordinance is to be effective does not align with McCandless code. It says ordained and enacted into law this 22nd day of June to be effective in accordance with law. McCandless code is very clear. The effective date of an ordinance is 10 days after advertisement or 10 days after enactment. If an advertisement fails to appear for reasons beyond council's control, it's section 117.11. And I would just ask that the ordinance be revised so that I thought we had already started to correct ordinances that were not correct. And I would like to see this one corrected so that it aligns to McCandless's code. Thank you.
Just for the record, the town's position is that when you state that the ordinance shall be effective in accordance with law, it includes Ms. Wright, we think.
I forgot to say I would respectfully disagree with whatever you said.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. I mean, we're in court on 7 different lawsuits because you disagree with me. When you say at the end of an ordinance that it's effective in accordance with law, if the McCandless Code says it's effective 10 days later, that's in accordance with the law. So we are complying. We have those words in the ordinance, and rather than make a mistake as to the exact date it becomes effective, etc., it is a typical practice throughout the municipal world that you use language such as that, because some ordinances are effective immediately in the real world. Some ordinances are effective not immediately. And so that encompasses all of the potential outcomes. And if there's an issue about an effective date, the administration and their legal team will discuss and determine when that date is. So I just want to make sure that that is part of the record as well. Any other public comments?
I have a question for you, actually.
Yes.
Could you ballpark how much money in court we have spent on Ms. Wright's lawsuits?
I object. How much have we spent on Mr. Corville not following the code that's costing the town?
I'll state for the record that Ms. Wright has.
To abstain for that question, just like you abstain from paying the bills when it comes time to pay the bills?
So the fact of the matter is that
That's not how my last name is pronounced, ma'am. And I don't know how you feel, but I know that.
Chair, call the meeting to order.
The-
There's nobody at the podium.
just going to say that. Well, I guess you're not able to speak unless you're at the podium.
There is not a back and forth here. There is not. There is not a back and forth, ma'am. I would like the residents of McCandless to know that we have spent tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees on frivolous suits. And I think that McCandless taxpayer dollars would be much better spent going towards funding EMS, towards funding public safety, and towards supporting the town of McCandless.
None of these suits have been successful to date. I think that's also important.
Thank you for knowing that, Mr. Corbett.
You're welcome. With that, we will close the public hearing. All right. I think we're going to another.
We have another public hearing, so
Okay.
I'll answer back to you.
I will call to order the second public hearing, which is a public hearing on the report and recommendations of the 2026 Council Manic District Commission. And I believe that Mr. Ennis has a presentation for the public as to the outcome of the commission meeting.
Thank you. One second, thank you. All right, so this presentation will be on the ward apportionment report overview. I'd like to start by discussing the members of the district commission as appointed: Trish Green, Jason Singer, and Paul Heckman. Myself as a staff liaison. And I'd like to just note that for the record, that the purpose of apportionment is to divide McCandless into 7 councilmanic districts as nearly equal in population as practical. Just to go over a timeline, as has been stated, we are currently at the first public hearing for this commission report. The commission had met at the that was advertised 2 weeks ago and had discussed this report, put the report together. And the next steps are now to go through this item and eventually vote for potential acceptance. To give an update of kind of where we're at and the reason we are going through this process now. In 2023 and 2024, the town had gone through the apportionment process and had sent the approved report to the county for review. The county accepted the review comments from the state, from the town, and then it was sent to the state election divisions, in which the state elections division had submitted to the town with the following comments. So on 9/20/2020, the town received comments from the state that included 2 different issues with the submitted plan. Issue number 1, that census box lines were non-conforming. Essentially meaning that a census block which is what is used in proportion of groups of people. That's what the standard is from the federal government. They're split. And then that's a requirement. So requirement of the is that there has to be, has to follow census block lines and it has to follow clear boundaries. So can't split like a yard or split somewhere that is not definably clear. So you can see on my presentation, different census block non-conformist, in districts 4, 5, and 6. As well as a few map errors, districts 4, 6, and 7, which will be discussed. As the talking about these errors, I essentially went through and put together a showcase of the errors and how we corrected them. So you can see on the left, the census block error, you can see that the previous census blocks, and looking back through what had happened was previous staff that went through this process, the census blocks with different censuses actually do change a little bit. So the data that they had was inaccurate. So that's where a few of these errors came from. They were the census block that had split. So you can see that this census block follows a property line, is divided by a parcel, and that does not meet the standards of the state's comments. Pretty similar issue with Ward 5. You can see highlighted in the picture that there's a small section of the against is just incorrectly aligned. The census block changed from 2010 to 2020. Same issue with Ward 6 as well. You can see it being corrected here as well. Is the only area that had to be corrected with a solution there. So the census block actually was divided completely incorrectly. It affected potential voters on this parcel here, or these parcels here. Within the data that the adjustment is that potentially 20 voters would be from 4 to 2 to 3 in the district. And this actually would not change the voting districts and still meets all the standards of deviation of what the town had processed. So I just wanted to note that as this is the only of the 4 years that is actually moving from what was approved in 2024. And this is just a this was just a cool. So now I just wanted to include this is 2013, but the district map that is it's current. This is the basis of what the town had updated, and this is a version of that was updated since 2000. There was no update in 2010 of changing the actual locations of the road. They just had a new map made. So the intention of the town was to make these changes. So what I'm going to be discussing here is all of the information that was included in the submission of this entire process. The town chose to go through this process. The creation of this commission is part of the town charter. So according with the town charter to overview these updates. So to action was changing is the movement of people from Wards 1 from basically 2000 and 2010 to 2020 there was an increase. So the population was 200, and this had to be to Ward 2, which was a population that was not at the same even level as Ward 1 was. Excuse me, Ward 2. That additionally occurred in 2 and 3. 6 and 7. You can see the changes here. And additionally 4, which the correct see that is where that corrected error was. So now looking at the here, this is the presented suggested changes of this report that would then be adopted if accepted by the town and by the state elections division. So just to go, steps are, obviously, we're giving this report at this public hearing. So this is the presentation. So our next public hearing is when the town council can vote on accepting this report. Then the town will proceed with all of the timeline items of public notices, submitting the report to the state for the county and state, as well as notification of those who affected. So the way it works with the county's election division is that the county's election division, it's affected any type of or district change. It's actually on the county to do this of any updates of that to any property owner. So if this would go through and the county would basically go throughout the town with adjustments, put notices, and also notify property owners. And then as the town of McKinley, for any affected property owners, we send information just to ensure that anyone affected is aware of it, and that they are aware of the location of what would be building. I think the biggest thing with a establishing where the roads are, county should make sure that information is possible. So we will be signing on this is in addition to that notification as well. So those are the steps of what the commission went over, and I'm happy to answer any questions and have comments.
Thank you, Mr. Ennis. Are there any council questions for Mr. Ennis?
I have one.
Yes, sir, Mr. Babbage.
Will the notice go out for the 2024 and 2026 changes at the same time?
So that's a great question. Just to explain, the 2024 changes were denied. So all the changes, the 2024 changes of the town, the council submitted, but then denied by the state. So actually none of those changes were actually in effect to the point where they affected where people vote and where they're in. So that would all come from the county.
Everybody that's changed will get a notification from the county. And just to add to Mr. Ennis, the county, we have the county approved the plan and the court approved the plan, and then the state rejected it. We thought we were at the finish line, but we were, so.
And this is from,
Yes,
I'm sorry,
that's all, yeah.
2020 census numbers?
Oh, correct. Yeah, 2020 census numbers. We did, so 2020 census numbers, and the vote is always, it's presented by the US Census. So it's all approximated anyway to a certain degree. So we felt that looking at the community survey for 2020, they do the American Community Survey, which is what the standard is for redistricting. The standard is to utilize the decade censuses. And we felt that, obviously another census is a couple years away from us, but being that we actually haven't really had a change in like 26 years, we felt that at least making an amendment to this, what was intended to occur a few years ago, and then look in the next few years if there's any deficiencies in the 2030 census, the town would then go through the same process of reapportionment.
So my question then would be, since the data is 6 years old, has there been any major, like, for example, a large senior living facility that would have a large number, or the closing of such facility that would maybe have those numbers not be 100% accurate?
There are approximations. The census data is approximations. So there is there has been some development in the last 16 years that could impact the data. But the process that followed all the guidelines from the federal government for how you're supposed to adjust your wards. And we're talking about redistricting. It's the town's position that the county is districts, and typically the districts are what can change, because that's what's typically affecting your voter numbers for your one. So I'd say that will most likely be with the actual districts. That's something that the county would be under their purview.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I don't have a question, but I just want to thank you for your hard work on this. We've been wanting to do this for years, so I'm glad we're pushing this across the finish line. So thank you for your help.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Jason.
Okay, if there are no other council questions or comments, then I will open the floor to public comment.
I'm Marcia Kelly. Under 10529 Abbey. I have a comment first and then I do have a question. I received a text message from somebody who's trying to watch this online and said they really couldn't hear you. And they're very curious about the word changes. So if at some point in time before we end this public hearing, if we could just review the word changes. So appreciate it. Have a time hearing you. My second question is, and I'm a little bit confused. I know that our job as a town is to draw the ward lines. And then it is hopefully the Elections Bureau to draw the precincts within those wards. I was a little bit confused when you were showing some, like within four ward, some district changes, so I don't know exactly where they came from. And we can't draw the precinct lines, which is where we really see a lot of, I mean, anybody who's worked on a number of these polls can see that these lines need to be amended because of somebody has no line and somebody has a ridiculously long line. Can we at least make suggestions as to how those precincts should be drawn out? So, to them saying, so that they hopefully gives them the impetus to make the precinct changes that need to be made as well as the word changes. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll just comment on your first comment. And I'll go back and pull it up on the map as well. Just to confirm, you said that the changes?
Yeah.
Okay. So from the previous maps, what they didn't hear.
The 2012 map.
Sure.
What we're. Okay.
Sure. So I'll just quickly over that then. So what changed from the census is that, and just a little bit of the highlights, was that 2010 to 2020 significantly was out of balance, and 7 both had higher population numbers, and 5 and 6 have been lower. So what they had gone through was to adjust to essentially take a portion of the section that's shown just to and that's what the population moves is to make that adjustment. The second adjustment was for two and the 60 to 71 and 72. As you can see, there was a division there. And then the final was towards votes 3. And just to clarify, the comment regarding Ward 4, and we go back to this previous chair. As you can see, that's how we looked at the actual errors that we did. The issue with the commission decided to essentially correctly is that the listing section there was in 4. Looking at the population totals, 4 was significantly higher than 4.2 and 4.3. So it felt irresponsible for the commission to add them into 4.1. An additional number of residents that are there. So that was where the census tracts that census tract had essentially split between the 3 districts, and the 2 residents is to have it be within 4.2, as you can see on this map, does not connect with that that track that parcel. As you can see on Highland. So to actually do it. So we weren't able to add the section into four 3. There. So that's I know it's a little bit confusing, but essentially it was because of the physical barrier limitation that's required by the census.
Paul Heckman, 10529 Abbey. Mr. Corbow.
Yes.
Having been to court with you when we put the first one out, and being sworn in by the judge and asked for things, would it be out of place for a representative, whether it's yourself or from the board, to maybe suggest to the judge that he suggests to the county that they fix the wards that are out of kilter? Because I think even with this change in 4, I think there are still a couple of precincts as judged by the lines at the polls that probably need more than just a little push one way or the other. Is there anything improper about?
I would say not improper, but not the correct forum. But hey, if a judge tells you to do something, you might do it.
I remember him telling them
idea
to make this effective with the upcoming election. And when Marcia asked me about why can't we make suggestions, even though it's not our duty to make those changes, we could certainly give them a list and go, look, within this year, there's some things that need to be fixed, and that's your responsibility, not ours.
I'd also encourage folks to talk to their county representatives about this issue and see if they can maybe
put a squeeze on it as well.
Push things along in that regard.
Okay, but I do think it's a disservice to the voters in those precincts, and it's not Matt's responsibility to make those changes. That we give them some suggestions about, look at these numbers and something needs pushed, because it's just not fair to people that are standing in line for an hour when other people are like walking by, casting their vote and coming out, and maybe 3 voters have gone in from the other line. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
I actually like just to comment on too, through my research of what had been occurred through the previous process, there was, I did see correspondence from RJ Sesko regarding attempting to like notify the county. And obviously the county is aware of the number of people, but there, I can say that at least in the past that the town had attempted to like push that forward, and it didn't look like it ever came to fruition.
So I know we didn't bring it up to the judge and bring it in front of the judge.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, any other public comment?
Alan Wright, 9635 Old Kimber Road, Allison Park, PA 15101. You know, the first set of drawings, I just wasn't really clear. I liked the next set of color. It was easier to see what was going on. The first set between and I don't know, it was hard to tell. And just what the maps were, which one was I didn't see a date on the big maps, and maybe I just missed it. The concern with this also has an effective date that's in accordance with law. McCandless's law is very clear that the effective date of an ordinance is 10 days after advertisement or 10 days after an enactment if advertisement fails to appear for reasons beyond council's control. I don't see anywhere it says that it's a fuzzy situation, that you'd have to ask the attorney or ask the town manager what accordance with law means. It's very clear that the effective date, and the cable company, they changed their ordinance so that the ordinance followed McCandless's ordinance. And there was another point with that. But anyway, so thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing that the ordinance will follow McCandless's ordinance. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll close this hearing. And just to note, both of these ordinances are scheduled to be on the June 22nd agenda for council's consideration. Mr. Vice President.
All right, next up is new business. We have action concerning the resignation of Shelley Swanholtz from the Planning Commission. I think I heard she's moving, is that right? So we thank her for her years of service to the Planning Commission and we wish her the best. Can we have a motion to accept her resignation?
I move that we accept the resignation of Shelley Swanholtz from the planning commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have an action concerning a vacancy for the Environmental Advisory Committee. Mr. Pickerson, since you are our liaison, would you like to make a motion?
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Carmen Ruby to the Environmental Advisory Committee for a term expiring on December 31st, 2026.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next up is public non-agenda comments. Are there any non-agenda comments from those in attendance?
Ellen Wright, 9635 Old Maroon, Allison Park, PA 15101. Last time I talked about the importance of council being familiar with the Sunshine Act. And this time I will say that if anybody wants to talk about the town code with me and see what questions they have or what questions I have, I'm more than open to do so with the members of council. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Is there any other comments from those in attendance? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Sure.
I'd like to request
Yes, Mr.
council retreat to executive session immediately after the meeting for advice from legal counsel.
Can I have a motion to adjourn briefly to?
Second.
So are we gonna adjourn first and then go to?
Can we adjourn and then we'll go immediately after?
Then can I have a motion to adjourn? We go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.